Boston, we need to talk. I would be doing a disservice to myself and the community without touching on different topics and talking about things that I don't think anybody is gonna want to talk about or topics that they don't want to touch. Sometimes you have to do hard things, and those hard things could be during the race environment, practice, training, times like now when you have to advocate for either yourself or for others. A few weeks ago, I ran the Boston Marathon. It wasn't my day. I had some stomach issues and I missed the cutoff by 3 minutes. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the vast difference in race experience with the front of the pack and the last corral, specifically yellow 5, 6, 7, 8. From my experience out on the course, it was not electrifying like everyone made it out to be. To be honest, what made Boston experience so amazing was everything that led up to the actual race. All the events, seeing all the people that you normally don't see that often, connecting with new people you only know from online, but you finally get to see them in person, all the different brand activations. Those are the things that made Boston and not the actual race in my personal experience. And here's why. Okay, so let's break the race up in two parts, 1 to 15 and then 15 to the end. Okay, so I want to say the hypest part of the first half of the race was not the Scream Tunnel. It wasn't Weasley, unfortunately. I'm going to give it to Ashlyn. And Ashlyn, when you came through there, you knew that you was running the Boston Marathon. That crowd support was insane. Once you hit the firehouse, you made that right turn at the firehouse. It was sporadic. It was maybe one family here, one family there, 3 people cheering here, 2 people cheering there. You have to have a very strong mindset. That was one of the toughest courses, not physically, but mentally. An hour and a half before that, the streets were filled with people, but to come through there and only see 5 or 6 families on each side is definitely a downer. I can say I'm a mentally strong person, but some people are not. And it was a good amount of people that was still coming behind me. I can only imagine how many people were out there when they came through. I run in New York City. I run in Central Park. We have Cat Hill. So Heartbreak Hill, it wasn't that bad. It was rough because it was 20 miles in, but it wasn't as bad as everybody made it seem. What was more heartbreaking than Heartbreak Hill was empty barricades. Literally no one. The only people that was out there was the aid stations that were actually packing up, because I'm guessing by the time we got to that point, it would have been time for them to pack up. Yeah, it was just aid stations packing up, 2 or 3 runners on the left or the right, and empty barricades. And keep in mind, I only missed a cutoff by 3 minutes. So that means while I was coming through the Newton Hills, I was either going to make the cutoff or just on the cusp of not making it. To still have a fight in the race and not have anyone out there for crowd support was actually insane. I remember there was one moment descending down Boston College and there was me, a taller runner next to me, and the official sweep vehicle, a bus, and a truck that seemed like it was moving much faster than the actual cutoff time, which was also mentally draining. What made me want to get to the actual end of the course is obviously to finish, but what made me want to push even harder is because I knew that I had people at mile 22. I knew I was going to see everybody from New York, everybody from Boston, all the people I was doing the shakeout runs with. So that's Pioneers, the Run Crew, Clothing Brand, Teamwork, Trailblazers, Mad Miles, We Run Uptown, District Running Collective. I know I was going to see all those people at mile 22. That gives you the urge to want to push through and actually get to 22. And if you can get to 22, you can get to 26. So that was the main driving goal and the mindset I had. Just get there and then get to 26 and then you're done. You cutting it close, but we probably could make it. That was the mindset going in. And I know what some people are gonna say, especially the internet trolls. They're just gonna be like, run faster or train harder. Or you're lucky even to get a spot. So why are you complaining? But that's just dismissing the issue. The issue isn't speed. The issue is support. Every runner deserves to feel celebrated, seen, and actually counted in final numbers. And it shouldn't matter what color your bib is or whatever pace you run. There's going to be some people out there that says counting every single last finisher is going to diminish the prestige of the Boston Marathon. I beg the question, what prestige are you trying to protect? Please let me know. You have your finisher medal, you have your official time. So what else are you trying to protect? The exclusivity? Because honestly, that's not the spirit of the running community that I know. Trust and believe, by this moment of the video, I know I done got underneath a lot of people's skin, annoyed them, pissed them off, or whatever. And I know there's probably some internet trolls probably going to ham in the comment section right now. But that's fine, because none of their opinions matter. The only person I am interested in hearing from is the race director of the Boston Marathon, which is Jack Fleming. I know people have written letters or advocated, Runner's World articles have been written, but also I feel like I still need to take this opportunity to not just come on here and talk about the experience, but also talk about what steps I think we can take to make the Boston Marathon inclusive for those in the final corrals and not the back of the pack or the slow runners, but runners who are committed and courageous, who are still out there, and also who are actually fundraised 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000. Because let's be honest, I finished at 5:33, and there are still probably hundreds of people still out there on the course, all in yellow bibs. And those yellow bibs are from charities. That probably was about maybe $3, $4, $5 million still on the course that would not get counted as an official finisher. So, with that being said, Mr. Fleming, this is for you. I know as you prepare to make the 130th running of the Boston Marathon a historical milestone, I hope that you would consider how we can ensure that every runner is felt like they are seen, celebrated, supported, and most definitely counted in the Boston Marathon. So before I get started on the list, shout out to the volunteers, because without the volunteers, the race cannot function properly. Just thank you for all you do. I actually volunteered the 2023 at the start line. So I know the amount of work, the hours, the time you have to get up, and it is greatly appreciated. The first thing on the list that I will say is at least leave the aid out if the volunteers can no longer stay at those aid stations. At least leave the water cups available. I saw people pouring out the water on the grass or pouring out the Gatorade on the side of the street, which is crazy because the people behind me really probably could have used that. So the first thing on the list is wave specific on-course support. People that were looking for water or that needed water, they didn't get it because some of the aid stations were already broken down. The water poured in the grass and there was nothing available. Luckily, I had a handheld and I was able to stagger when I needed water and when I didn't. But this is not about me, it's about the people that's coming after. Second thing on the list, full spectator encouragement until the final runner passes. I know we can't force anybody to stay out there, but we could incentivize people with town shout outs or the final stretch party just to have support for the final runners that are coming through there. Because like I said, when we was climbing through Newton and there was only like 4 families out there, that was incredibly disheartening. And I feel like we can do that through social media posts. If we can make posts about trying to keep the course clear or stay behind the barricades, we can also make posts on social media to say, hey, let's keep the momentum going. Let's go out there. Let's stay out there and cheer until the final runner comes through your town. So the next thing on the list, it would be timing. So the clocks that was on the course was a great touch, and it'll let you know what time the course was closing. However, not a lot of people know military time. I will say that. So if we can change that to the regular hours, that would be perfect. We have the technology. We have the B.A.A. racing app. We know who finished. We know who didn't finish yet. The timing mats. We know who crossed the mat. We can send a push notification to that segmented group. Hey, it's 5 o'clock. We got 30 minutes to get to the finish line, or something of that nature. Not a lot of people run with their phones, but in those later corrals, a lot of people run with their phones because they need to keep in touch with family. People need to know where they are. Timing mats are being pulled up. Family members need to know where their runner is. So I feel like we can use that app to a better advantage of what we're already doing right now. When it comes to timing mats, I understand that the course has to close at a certain time, but to lift up mats right in front of people while they're coming through is definitely disheartening. Stagger start optimization. This basically is talking about when you register for the Boston Marathon, you have to put your expected finish time. We're not talking about BQs. I'm literally talking about the last wave and the last couple of corrals. You have to put your expected finish time, maybe doing a 5:50 or 6:10 or 6:15, whatever that is. 99% chance that they're a charity runner. So I feel like they should not be in the last corrals. At least give them a fighting chance to have a good experience, or at least make the cutoff. If somebody's running a 6 hour or 6:15 or 6:20, you put them in corral 7 of the yellow wave, there's a good chance they're not going to be an official finisher when you could actually put them in wave 1 or wave 2. It's not that hard to give strict instructions. Okay, we're going to put you in this wave, but we need you to run on the right hand side or the left hand side. Let's try to keep the middle of the course open for people that are trying to make a time. It's a simple fix, but it's up to the powers that be. I think it's high time that we set this cutoff for the Boston Marathon to 6 p.m. That 30-minute buffer can make or break hundreds of runners' races and even 6-star finisher races. If London can keep their course open till midnight, if New York can keep their course open till the last finisher comes through, then the longest running marathon in the world can keep their course open for 30 minutes. Also keep in mind that about 90% of those last 1 hour finishers between 5 and 6 are going to be charity runners. And those charity runners, again, raised millions and millions of dollars. And to not be counted as an official finisher is absolutely crazy. There are so many things that can be covered in that 1 hour that wouldn't even cost anything. For example, you can have a final mile festival zone right there in Kenmore Square. Music, food, DJs, invite everyone who finished the marathon, family, friends, spectators. Fill up that last mile and cheer on the people between 5 and 6. You know what? Just call it the Golden Finisher Hour and make it a new tradition. Starting at the 130th marathon, we're going to have the Golden Finisher Hour between 5 and 6 and highlight some of the people that finished in that last hour. I'm pretty sure you will find amazing stories. There's no changes to the red, white, or blue wave. They're still going to run their same race. They're still going to be counted as finishers. They're still going to have their amazing experience. But with that extra half an hour, it reduces the stress and the pressure of trying to get to a time where you may not be able to. It restores some of the dignity in some of the finishers. Because, come on, being out there for that long and then finishing, but not really being counted as a finisher is crazy. It would bring in a new influx of runners who know they have a specific amount of time they have that extra buffer and maybe they can actually make it. So they'll sign up for a charity and raise money for that charity and be able to run the Boston Marathon, finish, and count that as probably star number 5 or star number 6, or people that have been trying 15 years who never thought that they can finish within the amount of time, but now they have some type of hope. We are not trying to diminish the Boston prestige. We're actually preserving it. We're keeping the qualifying standards. We're improving their experience. I don't know. There's probably going to be a few people that says, you know what? It's going to cost too much to keep the roads open and they can't keep the roads open that long. But to be honest, it's only 4 to 6 miles. We're not keeping 26.2 miles open. We're literally keeping Newton to Boylston. And while those runners pass through those last 4 to 6 miles, we already know who the last person is for that 6 p.m. cutoff. Once that person passes, then we get back to business as usual, the sidewalk, or whatever method that was used in the past. But that extra 30-minute buffer, it can definitely make a difference. Sponsors would literally jump at the chance to sponsor that last hour. Do you know how many brands would love to jump on actually partnering or sponsoring the last hour of the Boston Marathon, knowing that they can help hundreds and hundreds of charity runners or any type of runners finish and be counted as a Boston Marathon finisher? Create a closing crew. Those volunteers made to specifically work that last hour of the Boston Marathon. There are a lot of people that be willing to cheer earlier in the day, come out and do their volunteer gig later. They can wake up at their normal time, go out and cheer for a little bit, and then come and support everyone else who's coming through at that last hour and reframe the narrative. This entire video is not about me. It's about runners that's coming through in the future. Yeah, everyone always says, be the change you want to see. But what change are we actually putting forward? This isn't about pace. It's about respect, representation, inclusion. The B.A.A. can preserve the legacy of Boston while building the future where every runner from the front and to the very back can be seen, supported, celebrated, and most importantly, counted as an official finisher. Boston is big enough for all of us. We just have to prove it. That's all I got.